I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Justice for Amanda Sylvester. 15-year-old denied medical attention for 40 minutes. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this demonstration is only allegedly. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all of my moderators. Salute everybody. I'll come down to the chat in a minute.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video, which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Yeah, I was ready to get the patient. So we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting live in the news.
The last time that I checked, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, the last time that I checked, one having seizures, if anyone is having seizures, that is an emergency to be transported to your local emergency room. How is it that this beautiful, gifted teenager, how is it that her seizures were overlooked? And see, this is the problems that we as melanated people, these are the problems that we deal with on a everyday basis. Now, you all know how I feel as far as us playing the victim card. I don't believe that every case, I don't believe that when it's dealing with melanated people, copper people that we all consider to be black people. No, I don't believe that every case we are victims. However, I know for a fact that this is a case of her being a melanated little girl, and that's why the proper medical care wasn't assisted to her. Positive Vibe says the emergency system failed her. Marie says facts. I mean, what more do anybody have to say? It's sad. It's sad that 40 minutes went by. And most of the cases, a lot of police brutality cases are the same as this. The police takes sometimes 30 minutes to render CPR or assist in any kind of medical attention to the victim. We see it right here. And this is a little girl, 15 years old. She's on a volleyball team. She had her whole life ahead of her, you know, and she had seizures. EMT came. EMT arrived. EMT seen her condition. But you mean to tell me because some kind of Georgia state law prohibits, some kind of Georgia law says that you can't transport individuals unless it's a emergency, unless it's a severe case? What part am I missing? I'll wait for somebody to help me understand what part am I missing. This little girl was denied medical attention, y'all. She was denied medical attention. Marie says that was way too long to get assistance for someone. Her mother had to come. Her mother had to come. But by the time her moms got there, it was too late. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. It just seems like melanated people, it seems like black people, we just keep getting the short end of the stick. No matter where we're at in life, no matter what we do, we just keep getting the short end of the stick. There's no way to dress it up. It's no way to dress it up. And it's like it really touches you because you know that this young lady, this young teenager could have been any one of our daughters, granddaughters, sisters, or family members. Condolences go out to Amanda's family. You know, she had family. She had a mom. She had a dad. She had grandparents. She had a family. And as a parent, I'm sure that this was definitely not the call. This is not the situation that her mom was expecting. I mean, she's off at volleyball practice. What possibly could happen? What kind of danger could a 15-year-old teenager be in? Maybe, you know, a little cat fight with another volleyball player, maybe some pulling of the hair, maybe some, I don't like you, well, I don't like you, you know, maybe, you know, fall down and, you know, cut a knee. But in a million years, you don't expect for your child to be amongst adults. And then the EMT comes in. And nobody said she needs to get to the emergency room. Marie says a lawsuit will be applied to this case on the school and hospital. Positive Vibe says before the mother was called, I wonder why none of the teachers thought to rush her to the hospital in one of their cars after being told by the EMT they couldn't transport her. And that's just facts, Positive Vibes. What happened? What happened to old school parents? You know, what happened to old school adults? What happened to old school teachings? And I know people are so quick to, you know, talk about the old fashioned way, you know, salute Blue Devil G. But I could tell you one thing, had this happened back in the days, I can promise y'all Amanda Sylvester would still be with us. I can promise y'all that, because even if the EMT, even if they refuse to take her to the emergency room, those adults that was in that gym, they would have made sure she got to that emergency room, and they would have got her there, and they would have been on the phone talking to moms, and they would have been letting mom know what's going on. Look, EMT failed to transport your daughter. They failed to transport your daughter. They wouldn't get her to the emergency room for some glitch in the law. I felt like this baby needs to get to an emergency room. This is the hospital that we're going to. But then you do have to be careful. You do have to be careful, you know, especially these days, because, you know, if you take it upon yourself as a concerned adult, and, you know, it could backfire. It could backfire because, you know, with them transporting her to, you know, the local emergency room, anything could have happened. And by the parents not having permission, an adult by them not having permission to transport her, then they could be in trouble. So it's one of those situations where somebody definitely has to be held accountable. We ain't gonna make no excuses. We can't get around it. Somebody definitely has to be held accountable. However, you can understand, you know, it's just a different day and a different time. Let's run it back, y'all. Let's see, did they even attempt to perform CPR?
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video, which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances, such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Yeah, everybody's ready to get the patient. Things have to be. So we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting live in the news.
I've never heard of such, y'all. I've never heard of such. Salute, Still Swinging Podcast. Salute, Tommy. I've never heard of such. I've never heard of such. It says a family is heartbroken after 15-year-old Amanda Sylvester collapsed during volleyball practice at the Tracy Wyatt Recreational Center in College Park, Georgia, where EMS delays and legal red tape ultimately cost her life. According to those on the scene, first responders claim they were unable to transport Amanda to the hospital due to legal restrictions, and by the time her mother drove her to the ER, it was too late. This investigation exposes a series of miscommunications, legal obstacles, and system failures that led to this tragedy, leaving the Metro Atlanta community and family devastated. The million-dollar question: could something have been done differently in this situation? Or do rules in the medical field simply need to be changed? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Definitely something different could have took place. The EMT, the EMS should have made sure. It don't even mention anything about them performing CPR on this young lady. Definitely laws need to be changed. Now, Attorney Ben Crump has taken on this case. Ben Crump says a young life lost too soon. Amanda Sylvester's family and community deserve answers for the death of this 15-year-old who collapsed at volleyball practice after her ambulance took nearly an hour to arrive. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. How is it that the ambulance took nearly an hour to respond? Why isn't it mentioned that anyone tried to perform CPR on this young lady? We keep is life, y'all help me out now. Is life important anymore? Is it worth us living? Has we reached the level of, just completely coldness? Are we that cold? Positive says, not surprising, Ben popped out on this. Blue Devil says, that's BS. Positive Vibe says, the people just stood around and looked on, shaking my head. It's like when they see someone, taking somebody else's life, like people will just stand there and watch and record it. without helping. Like when do common sense kick in? Wait a minute. Maybe I better help instead of recording. Maybe I better help save this person's life instead of just sitting back, not doing anything. Hey, if it's any repercussions, I'll deal with the repercussions later on. But I'm not about to sit up here and watch a 15-year-old girl that's having seizures, and I just sit and I don't do nothing. Y'all could see, and I'll run it back. Y'all could see how just average, even when those EMTs walked in, when the EMS personnel, when they came in, do y'all see how calm and cool that they walked in? It was like no urge. Salute, Coltan. Blue Devil G says, as coaches, you should know CPR. That's facts. I mean, that's facts. Let's just watch. Let's look at this footage and just see.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue Ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Yeah, I was ready to the patient. So we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Ariana Mini.
How do you call for an ambulance and the ambulance don't come? You got to call back. I mean, like I said, maybe from state to state. Now, I've had the ambulance call in the state of Maryland. I've had the ambulance call in the state of North Carolina. I've had the ambulance call in the state of South Carolina. All 3 times. The dispatcher asks, do you need ambulance? They'll ask what's going on. Once you make that call and tell them that you need an ambulance, they're going to dispatch an ambulance out to the address that you give them. Blue Devil G says, Shank, coach, football and basketball in middle school, we had to take a CPR class. I mean, that's facts. That's facts, Blue Devil. Salute, Zena. Appreciate you for pulling up. I mean, it's maybe if it's anybody that live in Georgia maybe y'all could help us understand this. Like I said, I've had the ambulance call 3 different states. Maryland, when you call an ambulance in Maryland, they're going to ask you, what's wrong? What's going on? If you tell them that a 15-year-old teenager is having seizures, they're going to dispatch that ambulance out. And they're not only just going to dispatch the ambulance, they're going to walk. They're going to walk whoever is there. They're going to walk them through. It's no way in the world that you're telling me EMS was there. This is a no-brainer. How in the hell you got EMS on the scene? It's cold, man. This is cold. And this is why I say it all the time. Today, we're fighting for the justice of Amanda Sylvester. You never know, tomorrow we might be fighting for the justice of you, or you. We have to get more involved. We have to get more involved. In my opinion, everybody, we all are content creators. We all, if you are on social media, you are a content creator. You can make a change. Even if you only got 4 subscribers on your YouTube platform, even if you only got 4 Facebook friends, don't make a difference how many subscribers you have. Don't make a difference how many followers you have. I know people might think, well, I don't even have that many subscribers. Listen, I started out with 1 subscriber. Every content creator, everybody that your favorite YouTuber, we all started out with 1 subscriber, 1 follower. It didn't stop us. We started promoting. We started sharing these stories. As the young folks say, we got it out the mud. We all have a duty while we're on social media. We all have a duty to use our voices, to use our platforms. Even if you don't want to take the necessary steps that I've taken as far as, actually doing live streamings and things of that nature, you can post stories. You can post it on your social media platform. It don't take nothing to share it. It don't take much to share these stories. I mean, you're on social media all day long sharing a bunch of foolishness anyway. We have to do better. We have to get more involved. All of us. If it's 10 of us, all 10 have to do more to get involved. We got to get involved. That's the only way things are going to change. Let me tell y'all something. For all my religious folks out there, Jesus and let me calm down. Jesus is not going to fix these problems. I'm telling y'all that now. God is not going to fix these problems that we have been faced with all our life. We are the only ones that's going to fix these problems by getting involved and making a difference. That's the only way. That's our duty. Many of us want to know, what is our purpose? You want to know what your purpose in life? Your purpose in life is to do better by yourself and help your fellow man or womankind. That's what you was put here for, to help. Not be selfish and only think about yourself. That's not what this is about. Go back to the old African proverb. It takes a nation to raise, it takes a village to raise 1 child. And when you go back and when you look at that African proverb. And once, especially for us that was born in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, and on down, we know better. Now, for the millenniums, they wasn't around during those times. So I understand their mind frame. You can't really expect them. You can't expect them to make a difference the way that we know how to make a difference. If you was born in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, you know how important it is for the community to come together. And I see a lot of y'all 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and 40-year-olds. I see those three age groups with the most drama and the most mess on social media. I be like, God damn, how old is she? Some of y'all 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and 60-year-olds are on social media for the women. Some of y'all 40-year-old, 50-year-old, and 60-year-old women are on social media showing y'all breasts, showing y'all butts. Where they do that at? Some of y'all 40, 50, and 60-year-old men, some of y'all still want to be gangsters. Like, yo, you ain't you haven't realized it yet. But I know what it is. Those 40, 50, 60-year-old men that's still trying to live out this gangster fantasy, that's all they're trying to do. Because I'm telling y'all, the real ones that then lived it, the real ones that was around it, they ain't on social media moving like that. I can tell y'all that right now. If you want to know who's real and who's fake, look at how they move on social media. Let's look at how they move on social media. But this young lady, a teenager, man, at 15 years old, was denied medical attention. What law? Martin says, was this a racism issue again? You know what, Martin? My opinion, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. There are incidents where European, Caucasian teenagers have been in the same situation. Now, the EMS workers that came out, they were black. They were melanated. So why didn't they help? Why didn't they help? Those parents that was around, the staff, they were black. And this is why I keep stressing, and I'm going to keep stressing till the day I die. We got to do better. This country is so jacked up. The people in this country are so cold. Martin says, either way, it sucks. So sad. This country is jacked up. The people in this country is so jacked up. You tell me, Martin, I'm going to run the clip for you. And you tell me, Martin, what you think.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Everybody's ready to especially things have so we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting live in the newsroom.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Martin? Salute, brother Nazir. Salute, Dragon. Salute, Dragon. What are your thoughts? Well, we do know that the glitch in Georgia state law. However, the key to what I heard was if the patient, if the individual is having a severe emergency. That's the main thing that stuck out for me. You know, if it's a severe emergency, then they transport them to the nearest emergency room. She had multiple seizures. Appreciate the super chat, Martin. Appreciate the super chat, Martin. Martin says, we are better than this. Just get her to the damn hospital. And that's all I was saying. That's all we all was saying. Like, even see, for me, y'all, and maybe it's just me, but I doubt if I'm the only one that feels compassion for fellow mankind. I know we all. I know some of us are cold, but I know the majority of us has compassion in our souls for our fellow mankind. I mean, so you see this child, she's a child. You see her having these seizures. You know that she should be on her way to the emergency room. You know this. These are things that you know. You know it. Okay. They come, but it took an hour. It took an hour. And it took the mother had to come. Then they, oh man. Let me run it back and let me calm down, y'all. Let me calm down. Let me run it back, man. Let me run it back.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Everybody's ready to especially things have so we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died.
So even after an hour, ambulance, the 911 was called two times. And even after an hour, even after 2 times of the ambulance being called, Mom had to come and take her daughter to the emergency room, but it was too late. Martin says even a parent could have taken her It's not about who's qualified in an emergency. Hello? Like, for me, like I said, for me, I would have just had to dealt with the consequences later. Because for me, if I was there, they would have got her to, if they didn't get it to the emergency room, I would have got her to the emergency. She would have got to the emergency room. Because just the type of person that I am. You know, I would have got on one. I would have got on one immediately. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing. That's my get down. I ain't gonna bother you. I ain't gonna hassle you. I'm gonna stay in my own lane. I ain't gonna say too much. But in situations like this, I'm gonna be the opposite. Just as quiet as I am in a situation, I'm gonna be the loudest in the room. Man, y'all better get her to the MF hospital, and y'all better get it to the M. Where's her parents at? I would have been all over the place. I'd have been all over the place. That's a baby. That's somebody's child. That's somebody's child. At volleyball practice. You know, at volleyball practice. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. We're dying. We're falling apart. And nobody has answers. Nobody wants to even step up and fix these problems. We too concerned with, for the powers to be, they're too concerned with fixing other countries' problems. For us, for the regular American that's in this country, we're too busy caught up on ourselves. It's all about ourselves. As long as it doesn't affect me, I'm not even going to worry about that. It ain't none of my business. Salute, Miss Parker. Salute, Miss Parker. Appreciate you for pulling up. That's where we're at now. If it don't concern us, if it don't affect us, we don't want no parts of it. And then even when it's something that do affect us, our whole mind frame, our whole the way that we think. I personally know people that if it's a doctor available, it's a doctor available that can cure a certain disease. It's a doctor that's available that can help you. I personally know people that will not go to that doctor that is guaranteed to help them. Instead, they will say, well, if it's my time to go, then it's just my time to go. I'm going to put it in the Lord's hand. I'm so sick of hearing that. I'm so sick of hearing that. Now, you mean to tell me you got a doctor right here that can save your life and help you, but your foolish way of thinking, I don't want the doctor to help me. I'm waiting on the Lord to help me. Well, that's why the doctor is there for you to help. The Lord put the doctor there to save your simple ass life. Martin says, I gotta go, Shank. Had to get up early. Appreciate you for pulling up, Martin. And appreciate that super chat, Martin. Appreciate you. I appreciate your support. 2025, we cannot go into 2025 with that same foolish mind frame. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. Salute, Nola. Nola says, people Google everything else. Why nobody Google how to give CPR? I was watching the news earlier today, and it was 2 second graders, and they were in the lunchroom. Salute, Raw. And one of the second graders was choking off a grape. See, the other second grader grabbed him, the second grader, and they had him on the news. And it really touched me. You know, it really touched me because the second grader that did I forgot the technique that they call. Y'all know the technique that I call. But the second grader, And he said, I didn't know what I was doing. He said, but my friend, I knew my friend was choking. He said, I didn't know what to do. He said, but I just grabbed him and I just started, pressing on his abdomen and just, and the grape popped out. I mean, it's human nature. It's human nature. How is it that a little kid at 7 years old knew to try something? But how was it that these adults stood by and watched young Amanda Sylvester lose her life? And like I said, salute Suntan. Like I said, our way of thinking, it has to stop and it has to change. We got to stop waiting for Jesus to fix our problems. We got to stop putting it in the hands of the Lord. Because the last time I checked, Jesus said that you can do great things. You could do things greater than I. What did he mean by that? What did he mean by that? A spoiled child, and I'm sure we all have at least one spoiled child, or we've seen spoiled kids. A spoiled child has all of the necessity tools, whatever it is that this spoiled child keeps coming to you for. The spoiled child has the necessary tools to fix their problem. But the spoiled child wants you to fix their problems. Even though, and I want y'all to listen to me, even though you ain't the one that created the problem in the first place. Now, you're coming to God. God didn't create those problems that your funky ass created. I got to talk to y'all raw. All right? Because that's the only way y'all funky asses will comprehend anything. Now, you keep going to God, you keep going to Jesus to fix your problems. Jesus ain't the one that created the problem. God ain't the one that created the problem. Your funky ass created that problem. Now, your funky ass has to fix that problem. Salute, Capricorn Chronicles. Salute. I'm just tired. I'm tired of our way of thinking. I'm tired of seeing the same old plays repeated over and over again. I'm tired. It's like, come on. When is enough enough? I mean, come on. We got the power to make a change. We got the power to make a difference. So, Shank, you mean to tell me you one of those that don't believe in God? I never said I don't believe in God. I always said that I believe in God. But I do know when God created man and woman, I do know God gave man and woman power. I do know that. How is it that with all the technology that we have? Now, when I say we, I'm speaking of all Americans. I'm not gonna categorize us Black Americans, white Americans. Because it's not just Black Americans, white Americans, it's all of us as Americans. How is it that we have the power to change things in the past? Look at all the things that the people changed. But why today? Why have we gotten so lazy? Why have we got so comfortable? Tell me. You had college kids. Back in the 60s that was tired of police brutality. You had these college kids that started the greatest revolutionary group in America, the Black Panther Party. And along with that, they are the ones, many of you all want to know where Head Start started at. That's the Black Panthers program. The Black Panthers did what? The Black Panthers took care of the community. The Black Panthers fed the community. No kids, no children went without breakfast or lunch as long as the Black Panther Party was around. What happened to us? What happened? Let me run the clip for those that just pulled up.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue Ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Yeah, everybody's ready to the patient. So we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Ariana Manise for 11 Alive.
Seizures, having seizures. Right, Capricorn Chronicles. Having seizures can cause one to die if that isn't an emergency. If that isn't an emergency. Having seizures, it's a known fact that you can die from having seizures. An hour went by, an hour. No ambulance still haven't arrived. Still hasn't arrived. Two 911 calls were placed. 2 911 calls were placed about this beautiful young lady, this beautiful teenager, Amanda Sylvester. There were two 911 calls. It's sad. It's a sad day. According to Georgia state law, and this is Georgia's law, it has to be a severe emergency. See, they just basically told on themselves. You know, they tried to dress it up. You know, folks are always trying to dress up. They are always trying to dress up their wrongdoings. But when you try to dress up, see, you cannot get around when you're wrong. You can't. I could never get around when I'm wrong. To this day, I can't get around when I'm wrong. So I just come straight out and stand on mine and say, my bad. Because I ain't about to sit up here and try to come up with all these lies that's going to catch up with me eventually when it play out. I'm just going to come straight out and say, my bad. You can't dress this up. It's nowhere in the world anybody can dress this up. Y'all just told on yourself. They just told on themselves. Well, if it's a severe emergency, then okay. The young lady was having seizures. One seizure. That's all it takes is one seizure for you to lose your life. But she had multiple seizures. She collapsed, as Capricorn Chronicles said. That was the first emergency. What? The first emergency was she collapsed. That ain't an emergency. People, we got to. It's sad because mom and dad, but mom, her daughter is at volleyball practice, in a million years. I know that her mom, I know that her dad, I know that they did not expect this. In a million years, you couldn't have paid her mom to believe that her daughter was going to be having seizures. Her daughter was going to collapse, and then the 911 call was put in for the ambulance 2 times. Not only was the 911 call put in for the ambulance 2 times, EMS showed up. Emergency medical team showed up. They didn't perform CPR on her. I'll drop the link in a few more minutes, y'all. Give me a few more minutes. I will drop the link because I want to hear other people's take on this. And if you would like to purchase a super chat, super sticker, or even a membership, click on the $sign. I do read all super chats. If you have a question for me to answer, or if you have a particular comment that you need for me to read. I'm shocked. Like, just when you think it can't get no worse, just when you think that you've heard it all, and I'm sure you are, but I didn't heard some strange cases. I like wow. Like, I thought we were supposed to take care of the children. That's what was always taught to me. No matter where I was at in life, when I was a square, when I wasn't breaking the law, when I was a nerd. Yeah, I was a nerd before. I wish I would have stayed a nerd. But when I was a square, it was taught to me, take care of the babies, take care of the children. My days in the streets, take care of them babies. Most of us, that's why we was hustling. Most of us, that's why we was active in the streets. We was trying to make a better way for our children. Not to say that it was right, but it was always about the children. And now, to this day, that I'm a community activist, it's about the babies. It's about the children. And if you're not going to do right, by these children, then step aside as a father. If you're not going to do right by your children, step aside. Let another man come in and do right by your children. As a mother, if you're not going to do right by your children, step aside. Let the father have the children. Because believe it or not, y'all, Believe it or not. And as men, as fathers, we've gotten a bad rep for a long time. Believe it or not, the majority of men will raise their children. The majority of men will be active in their children's life. The majority of us. I didn't say all of us, but the majority of men, we will be active in our children's life. But one thing about a man, one thing about us men, we're not going to tolerate no BS. We're not going to fight. And I know a lot of females are going to get irritated about this. But men, a father, he's not going to fight. He shouldn't have to fight to be in his child's life. He shouldn't have to fight. As a father, he shouldn't be looked down on. Some of y'all mothers look down on your children's father. That man might not have the best job. That man, you know, he might have some mistakes. He might have some things going on in his life that he just have to fix. He might not be the father of your child that you think he should be. Because a lot of y'all mothers, that's where y'all go wrong at. Y'all go wrong because y'all hold the father. Every time I get the dropping jewels, y'all. Every time I get the dropping jewels. But y'all quick to hold the fathers to these high standards and high expectations. But some of y'all mothers don't reach those high standards and high expectations. We got to do better. Just like mothers got to do better, fathers, we got to do better. Let's look at what's going on in the world today. Look. I will drop the link. If anybody want to come up for a few minutes, feel free to hit the panel. But this young lady, she lost her life, y'all, at 15 years old. You know, at 15 years old. So now it's who do you trust? Who do you trust around your child? Who can you leave your child with and trust them? Who can you do that, man? It's just we are failing our children. 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 And this is why I say we all got to get involved. Amanda, mom, in a million years didn't think this was going to happen. And this is what I'm saying. It might not be your child today. It might not be you. But tomorrow it might be your child. Tomorrow it might be you. It's sad, man. It's sad, you know. This thing is sad. So that's a picture of her, and that's when they noticed that she began That's when they noticed she began to experience any problems. Click on the $ symbol, Suntan. Click on the $ symbol, Suntan, and it'll it'll walk you through how to purchase a membership. Click on that $ symbol, Suntan. But that's at 15 years old, like, you know, like, mm, mm. This is sad. You know, to get there, and as the mom to get there, and you're asking, well, what happened? You know, why didn't y'all help my daughter? See, so now the mom is going to be traumatized. She's gonna go through life feeling like she let her daughter down. So now, and this is why I tell y'all, you know, you people grieve differently. People deal with death differently. You cannot tell somebody how they should deal with death. You cannot tell somebody how they should deal with it. Because now the mom, she's going to have to keep her sanity, you know, because if she loses it, you know, which is so easy for us to lose it, especially when it comes to our child, but that won't help the situation. Like I said, when I lost my daughter, man, I was on one. I was on one. You know, I was trying to fight the doctors. I was ripping my clothes off. I was throwing stuff all up at the hospital. I mean, I was on one. And my female friend said, Shank, if you don't calm down and get yourself together, she said, you're going to end up getting locked up, and you will not be able to be there for your daughter. Because see, now you have to plan the funeral. You have to make funeral arrangements. See, this is when, like I said, I learned this in anger management. They said, take 5 seconds, no matter what the situation is. Take 5 seconds. Just take 5 seconds and think. Because at first, you know, soon as something happened, I'm in my feelings. But 5 seconds, that's all it takes. 5 seconds. Think. Because your natural instinct is to resort to violence. That's everybody's natural instinct. Somebody say something to you out the way, somebody do something to you out the way, you're ready to resort with violence. And that's not the best decision to make. Now, if it's self-defense, if somebody is trying to put their hands on you, if somebody is attacking you, then, you know, handle your business. Let me see what else I can find, y'all, on this story. Can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for Amanda Sylvester's family? Can I get everybody to throw up some prayer hands for Amanda Sylvester's family? Just bear with me for a little bit longer, y'all. Then we're going to get out of here. It make you don't even, at times, it just like, mm, mm, mm. All right. This is the latest that I see right here, y'all. And then we're going to get out of here. It says, family of Georgia teen who died after 40-minute wait for ambulance retains civil rights attorney Ben Crump. The family of 15-year-old Amanda Sylvester, who died after collapsing during a volleyball practice earlier this month, has retained civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Amanda collapsed on December 5th at the Tracy Wyatt Recreation Center. Though first responders arrived quickly, no ambulance transported her due to licensing rules cited by the city of College Park. Her mother, Barbara Sylvester, drove her through heavy traffic to a hospital where Amanda later died. The family is awaiting autopsy results while seeking independent answers. Amanda's parents hope their loss sparks change. You call 911. You expect help, her father, Anthony Sylvester, said. Together we break. I appreciate you for pulling up. Together we break. You know, YouTube, they keep me in shadow ban. Like, you know, like I said, y'all, certain demonstrations, and that's why make sure y'all are subscribed to me on my other social media platforms, because I don't know how much longer I will be, you know, on YouTube, because YouTube, they shadow ban me, you know, they don't send out my notifications, and it's like, you know, they getting in my way, you know, they trying to stop my voice, you know, but they can't stop my voice, and I can't allow them to stop my voice. On Instagram, I'm Shank Rock. Instagram, Shank Rock is my handle. ShankRock. That's me on Instagram, Shank Rock. And that's why, like I tell people all the time, the support, you know, we have to support each other. You know, we have to support each other. You know, especially when we're doing the right thing. You know, we got to support. And I just want everybody to know that do support me. I really appreciate y'all that support me. Those that send cash apps, I really, really, really appreciate those cash apps. Those that purchase memberships and super chats and super stickers, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate y'all support. Together We Break says, this is crazy. Nola says, I think there should be a law that nobody can film people in distress and post it on their page. Go to jail or your page get taken down. And I agree. I agree. I agree. Capricorn Chronicle says you should try setting up a meeting right in YouTube to see if someone is flagging your videos or your channel. They are, you know, earlier this year, you know, my channel was reported to the Better Bureau, and so that plays a major role in it. You know, that was the major hit that happened to my platform when that person, and they know who they are, that person reported my channel. You know, I had got demonetized, and the person that tried to strike my channel, you know, they were somebody close to me, you know, somebody that I was, you know, taken up for, but that hurted my channel. So, you know, I gotta find ways of, you know, getting out of the shadow ban because of that person reporting my channel. And that's why I tell people, y'all don't know what y'all do to people when y'all get in y'all feelings. Things that could have been resolved, with a simple phone call, you know. So y'all got to be careful what y'all do to people, because, you know, you being selfish, you thinking you hurting somebody, you know, you could be hurting, like I said, as far as this platform. And everybody know what the platform was about. Everybody know all the things that I brought to the platform. You know, I had subscribers night on Mondays. What other content creator, what other YouTuber, you know, had nights for his subscribers to do their demonstrations? I had comedy night, you know, but that's neither here nor there. So and then I got this other channel, the backup channel, After Dark with Shank. So what I'm gonna probably end up doing, I know I'm gonna take a couple days off from YouTube. I might take the rest of the year. I might just take the rest of the year, you know, and then come back, you know, the beginning of the year. Because I don't want to shut my YouTube channels down. I don't, you know what I mean? Because I know that many of you all look forward to the demonstrations that I do. And I don't want to be selfish, you know, but it's hard. It's hard, you know, it's hard. But we gotta go into 2025. We got to go into the new year supporting. We gotta, and I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. You have to support the platform. I need help. And I ain't ashamed to say it. You know, I ain't ashamed to say it. But I need help. You know, and I appreciate everybody's support. But I'm switching lanes in the new year. So I don't know if I'll still be on YouTube or not. Salute, Trelane. Appreciate you for pulling up, Trelane. Salute. So I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I'll leave y'all with this clip. I know Trelane and Leslie and y'all, I know y'all just pulled up. So I'll run the clip back on what happened. I'm sure y'all heard, but if you haven't heard, this is 15-year-old Amanda Sylvester. She died. She was denied medical attention. She collapsed, and she had multiple seizures. According to Georgia state law, she couldn't be transported to the emergency room because her condition wasn't severe. But she collapsed and she had multiple seizures. So salute everybody. I appreciate you all for pulling up. I'll see y'all on the next demonstration.
That's right, Aisha. Amanda Sylvester, she collapsed on December 5th while practicing at the Tracy Watt Recreation Center in College Park. Now, surveillance video shows Sylvester in the gym warming up for volleyball practice. As she was running, she stops and puts her hands on her knees. You see her in the back of the gym by that red mat. We paused the video which shows the teen collapsing on the gym floor. College Park Fire and Rescue Ambulance, they arrived 10 minutes after 911 was called. They checked the teen's vitals, which they cited as normal. A Grady ambulance was also dispatched as EMTs were unable to transport her to the hospital due to state licensing rules where EMTs who are not licensed paramedics can only transport patients under certain circumstances such as life-threatening emergencies. However, as the situation escalated, EMTs radioed to Grady for a second time.
Rescue 3.
Yeah, everybody's ready that the patient seems to have seizures. So we got an update on that radio.
I'm checking now. Stand by. Rescue 3, it's showing that the call's been updated. However, there still is not a unit en route. They're advising they're at level 0.
And Aisha, as you mentioned, after waiting almost an hour, video shows the teen's mom wheeling her to her SUV to bring her to the hospital herself, where Sylvester went into cardiac arrest and died later on that evening. Now, in a statement from Grady EMS, they say that they reallocated services as soon as the call's urgency was updated, but emphasized that College Park Fire and Rescue, they could have taken the teen to the hospital under Georgia law if the situation had been deemed life-threatening. Reporting.
So if her condition, if it was deemed an emergency, then they could have took her. They could have took her to the emergency room. Like, what are y'all thoughts? Do y'all think race plays a factor in it? I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. You know, how do you go? How do you collapse? That's the emergency right there. She collapsed. So what are they talking about? What are they talking about? You tell me, Leslie. I mean, Leslie says no way, Shank. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. Salute everybody. My Tylenol has kicked in. I beat you to it, positive vibes. I beat you to it, positive vibes. Salute everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Salute, Miss Groovy. Salute.